Hey, good morning. This is Rod. Welcome to Jesus in Silver. Today, I want to talk about Jesus again, and I want to talk about how we can or cannot relate to him in a lot of ways. Um, Maybe you were this person, but there was always one person I knew who seemed to be good at everything. And I noticed that in school, when I got out of school into the workforce, and just in meeting different people along the way. Um, a lot of people are just like, well, not a lot of people, but there are people I've met along the way who are really, really good at everything they attempt to do. I'm not really that guy. I'm the average Joe when it comes to most things in life. Um, but Jesus, on the other hand, he seemed to be good at everything. And, I think they call those people well rounded or the all around guy. And, that they always excel no matter what they do. And so Jesus, he was that ultimate well-rounded guy because first thing he did was he taught with authority. And the audiences back then when he was teaching, when they were just amazed and awed at what he was saying and his knowledge. He chased out demons or evil spirits out of people, and he did it with ease. And they had people that would try to do those things back in the day, but they didn't really do what Jesus did, and with the ease and all those things. And he healed so many people, just whether they touched him, whether they you know he went to them, whatever it was, right? It was at a rate that would put the best doctors we know today to shame. And he impressed everyone around in some sort of way. And I think he surprised them too that they couldn't help but think like, man, how can he be a human? How can he be a mortal man? So I think that clearly shows that Jesus wasn't just the average guy next door like me. I mean, not no man can freely exercise authority over the sickness, the demons, everything else like Jesus had done. And he's not just a magician or a miracle worker. His understanding of the scriptures and of God amazed everyone. And even the evil spirits recognized who he was and his divine nature, and they called him the Holy One of God. So Jesus' identity, that true identity of God, couldn't be hidden anymore. People who heard of his work, I mean, they came from all over for his help, and they would sit down at his feet and listen. They wanted to hear his teachings about God. And Jesus, he looked like you or me. He looked like a normal guy, but what he did, his work, was anything but normal. And the impact of Jesus, he had a 3-year ministry, right? 3 years he was doing these things here on earth, but it's continued for more than 2,000 years later. I mean, up still going today. Christianity is the largest religion in the world with an estimated 2.4 billion believers. So that's almost a third of the world's population. So let's think about the Bible, right? It contains all of the revelations of God. It tells the stories of Jesus, and is the most widely distributed book and best-selling book of all time. These influences of Jesus, what he has these influences that Jesus had testified to the uniqueness and the authenticity of his ministry. And now, my question to you is, who do you think Jesus is? Is he a miracle worker? Is he a wise man? Is he a teacher? Is he God? Now, if you've taken that step to be a follower of Christ, that's good. And if you haven't, that's something to think about. But let's go. Let's dig a little deeper here today, and let's look at Mark. Mark chapter 1. We're going to be using this is the New King James version, but then they went into Capernaum, and immediately on the Sabbath he entered the synagogue and taught. And they were astonished at his teachings, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. Now there was a man in the synagogue with an unclean spirit, and he cried out, saying, "Let us alone. What do we have to do with you, Jesus of Nazareth? Did you come to destroy us? I know who you are, Holy One of God." But Jesus rebuked him and said, "Be quiet and come out of him." And when the unclean spirit had convulsed and cried out with a loud voice, he came out of him, and they were all amazed. And so they questioned among themselves, saying, "What is this? What new doctrine is this? For with authority he commands even unclean spirits, and they obey him." And immediately his fame spread throughout the region in Galilee. And these stories continue to go on and on. He healed Peter's mother-in-law. He healed many after the Sabbath, and there was lots of things there, right? He preached in Galilee because, and he even knew what he was here for. And these words in red were Jesus when he said, the disciples were trying to get him to rest. And he's like, "Let us go to our next town so that I may preach there also, because for this purpose I have come forth." And then Jesus cleanses a leper. And it was with belief. Like, all you had to do was believe. So that's what it takes, is you have to have belief in Jesus. Believe that he is the Lord and Savior. And when we believe that, everything changes in our life. Now, once again, it doesn't mean we're not going to have problems here on earth, because we're going to. We're human. We're not the ones that are God. But we do know that we have a better place to go. We have a better place waiting on us here in heaven. So thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. If you've never found Jesus to be your Savior, and that's something you're interested in or want to learn more about Jesus, please let me know. I'd love to connect. But join me again tomorrow as we continue talking about Jesus and his ministry here on earth and what separated Jesus from everyone else.